The sensorial area is where we see the young child in particular being open to the world, being completely open to what they're being exposed to. And the idea behind the sensorial area is to help each child to refine their sensory awareness, to help them to define the world. We're giving them sensory experiences that young children are craving and looking for. And so the sensorial area, the idea behind it is to help the child to define their world. The child's job is to name their world. So we're helping to give them all of the vocabulary that will help them to refine their observations. Children are naturally observant. They're going to be noticing everything around them. Everything is a new experience. So how do we help them to look at what they're seeing with a more attuned eye? So we help them to learn words such as rough and smooth. What is rough? This is rough sandpaper. This is smooth sandpaper. And then they feel the gradations. From the smallest pink cube to the biggest pink cube. There's really a distinct difference, and we want the children to feel it. Not only, they could look at it on the computer screen and have something come out and blink at them, yes, you answered the right thing. But that isn't teaching them nearly the same thing as holding the smallest pink cube and the largest pink cube, and getting the vocabulary tied to something that they're touching, that they're feeling, that they're carrying across the room. And so it's really this internalization of these different concepts that we're working on with children in a way that comes very naturally to them. Their minds are so absorbent at this age. They are able to take in so much language, and we're feeding that very natural curiosity and this capacity for vocabulary. They love the big words that come from the sensorial area. Just having something called the trinomial cube, just to wrap your mouth around the words. Trinomial cube is an isosceles triangle. You see these 4-year-old children who just take pleasure in knowing that that's what this is. And we're also laying a foundation for their later development. We know that at some point in their lives, they'll be studying geometry. And they'll have a whole wealth of vocabulary that they will have this resonance with, that they will have this connection to, and already a very basic integrated understanding of what it means, that they won't have to go back and do. They'll already have that within. One of my favorite experiences is the taste. That we do tasting experiences in the classroom that are very natural. That we talk about temperature and weight with children. They're getting something that will relate to each of their senses throughout the sensorial area. Again, another great theory that relates so well with Montessori education is this idea of multiple intelligences, that different children have different ways of knowing, of learning, that they're more in tune with. Not that they can't learn in other ways, but that they are more in tune with. And so the sensorial area, we have musical awareness, where we have these beautiful bells that we helped introduce children to these concepts of different tones and different notes. Now, with older children, we can take it from where they're identifying the different tones, identifying the notes, singing it, matching it with their own voices, as many different senses as we can get involved in this, as many different ways of expressing themselves, right at the point where they're so fascinated by literacy in general. And this is just another language, musical language, for them to find their comfort level with. I think the sensorial area is probably the area that is the most foundational. It's the one that lends itself to all learning later on, in particular mathematical and musical, but you can also see many parallels to literacy development. One of the nicest ways of helping a child who feels like they've done it now. I know how to do the geometric solids, where we have these beautiful wooden solids that show different geometric shapes. And so you say, okay, you have all of the names of these different Solids, now let's try it with a blindfold. And they put the blindfold on, and then they have to feel, and oh, this one feels like a sphere. This one feels like an ovoid. And then they can look and see, did I get this right? So it's not just knowing it with vision, but knowing it without the visual stimulation. That's important here as well. When we take children from 3D objects to 2D paper representations of these objects. So you take a sphere, a ball, and the child first looks at it and says ball. The other name for that is sphere. Sphere, it's fun to say. And so then how do we represent that on a paper? In two-dimensional, it's a circle. And so we make a circle with a thicker line and then a thinner line. So we're gradually bringing them from this 3D object towards a two-dimensional representation that would be something that you would create with paper and pencil, which is very much a lead into literacy and to being able to read and write.